Rhodes Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. Do not lose sight that they went 4-2 in their last 6. Yeah, it blows that they won the first 4 and then finished off the first half heading into the All-Star game with 2 losses. But this was a very weird series. There was so much going on, I'm probably going to leave something out to discuss because my head couldn't even process it all. You start off Friday evening learning that Andrew Painter is going to need an MRI, and they are scared, and they won't give you any sort of new info in the next upcoming days. And then we eventually did learn, and there was actually some positivity surrounding the report. But what the hell? Jose Alvarado hits the IL. Bryce Harper gets hit in the same exact elbow that he gets Tommy John surgery on. Now, he ended up trying to steal third base, and they said it was precautionary, and there's nothing on the x-rays. It came back negative, but I'm still scared. I'm still clenching my ass cheeks because when that dude gets hit by a pitch, my stomach seriously falls underneath my balls, and I can't breathe. I'm just being honest with you. That's what this show is all about. I am a man of the people. I let you know the real, and the real is the second that happened, I almost collapsed. Stock gets hit in this series too on Sunday afternoon. It's unbelievable. Aaron Nola, home run after home run after home run. He was getting tattooed all afternoon. You're not put in a position to succeed from Nola. I want to tell you, though, how important I thought the messaging was with the Andrew Painter first news drop. Because this couldn't get uglier. You know they normally hold back and they try and hide as much as humanly possible. For them to be as open as they were about it, that's what made me sick. That's what made me vomit. This was the wording. The Phillies feared the worst. Oh, never mind. This was after. Andrew Painter's test results are back. Better news than what we expected. Damn, dude. I mean, there's so much that went on. I'm 75,000 tweets scrolling through Todd Zalecki. Come on now. Here we go. This is what it stated. Andrew Painter is undergoing testing for right elbow discomfort. Rob Thompson said he could not reveal what the testing is, and he is not sure when the results will be available. They know. Trust me. They know. Their number one pitching prospect? Somehow the manager is just left in the dark? He's confused? He's got zero knowledge on what is even happening? Not true. They knew exactly what was going down. They just got better results. So then, hey, we're willing to pass this out. But I'm just in an unsettling mode. Not so much because of the performance in the final last 2 games against Miami, but we're sitting on edge because of the health. Where are they? I'm not believing much on what they say on Harper. All right, so Friday evening, you learn about Andrew Painter. Friday night, Pache hits a pinch hit home run deep into the ball game. And we're all aggravated because we watched Josh Harrison strike out, and we're down to a final look at it. And Pache, holy shit, that was insane. Even his quotes after the game, the dude is the man. He knew the moment it left his bat, he's celebrating and running the bases as fluidly as he likes. The squad gets a huge W, and it felt like this team just wouldn't lose. It felt like they figured something out, and they were going with the magic carpet ride. Until Ranger fell back to earth, until Nola fell back to earth. It doesn't help when some of your guys in your lineup are non-existent, which happens. Sunday afternoon, Stott hit by the pitch. Schwarber doesn't run hard. I I don't care what the replay is. I mentioned this pretty recently, too, when JT Realmuto tried to take a single into a double, killed a rally, absolutely destroyed an inning, but technically he really did get to second base, and they missed the tag, and he got in. He was securing the bag before the tag was initiated, but the umps blew the call. They went to the replay booth. They didn't have enough to overturn it, even though they should have. But it wasn't really about the wrong call. It was the fact that that's stupid baseball. Kyle Schwarber, it's not about the wrong call, even though I don't know how blind you could possibly be when you're studying a screen that shows a cleat hitting first base before anybody else gets there. Kyle Schwarber dogging it. He's not Mr. Physicality, all right, or Mr. He's not Mr. I'm gonna be a force on the base pass. I get that. This team gets a free pass though, with base running mistakes. So what do I do at this point? Because there's never anyone held accountable. So I'm just gonna let it be known. So then you could just have the image in your head and you can feel the pain again. The players, there's no sort of repercussion for it. From day one. They are 4-2 in 6. Prior to both series, if you were informed, they'd go 4-2 between Tampa Bay on the road and Miami. I think we'd all sign up for it. The problem is one team is an AL squad. That's irrelevant, and the other team is ahead of you in the National League East. The other team is a division rival that's had your number in years past, and they're beating up on you and taking 2 or 3. So the more important team added separation in the standings. 4-2 is 4-2. They always have us on our toes, though. I'm in a real weird bubble of feelings, though. Because I think right now, it's all about can they be healthy? There's a lot different stuff going on when I'm more concerned about who's staying upright and where the health of some of your stars are. Bryson Stott, 300, gets hits every single night, plugging away, stealing second base, taking a bag. He's a big-time leader. He really is. I think that he inspires. I think his play has pop. I think there's an energy level that rises when Bryson Stott is doing things like that. They feed off of him. Kid's outrageous. 100 hits. Take it off and grabbing an extra base. You heard the broadcast. He's in great company in this franchise. Big names, Jimmy Rollins, that's the level. I had people freaking out at me saying, I want him to play shortstop. Trey Turner stinks defensively. Why are you so worried about Bryson Stott playing second base? He's a good second baseman. Let it rock right now. Trey Turner will be your shortstop. You signed him to a fat contract. Now, he's not very good defensively. And I know Dodgers fans are playing the whole, see, we told you so. You thought we were overreacting. You thought we were being too aggressive. You thought we were too harsh. His glove stinks at shortstop at times. He makes boneheaded plays. The problem is he's not in World Baseball Classic mode. If he's in WBC mode, then fine. Like Rhys Hoskins. You can boot the ball at first. Here's 30 bombs. I don't know. I'm just in a very awkward spot. It left a sour taste in my mouth. But the run they've been on is crazy. They're on pace to win the same exact amount of games as last year. That brings up a whole nother discussion, though, on because the way last year took off, do you just have the philosophy of get in and I don't care how? Because all I need is you to play the right way when it's the most important time of the year? I think last year changed everyone's mindset and view. I'm having a hard time switching to that because I live in the right now. I speak about this team after every series and sometimes after every game. I don't have the luxury to say, pause, What would I talk about then for 25 to 30 minutes when it's time to talk Phillies baseball? Well, this happened, but it doesn't matter. This happened, but who cares? This happens, but I don't have any opinions on it. No! They've been on a great path after May. Like, their June was gross. And they're still playing fantastic ball. They almost just tied the record for the most away wins, or beat the record for the most away wins consecutively. They're doing something right. But my jaw hit the floor when Bryce gets drilled. I want to cry when Stott does too. I'm headhunting from there. The Bryce thing, I can't believe I'm saying this, but just after Bryce, even though he's your top dog, I'm not going full throttle to the opponent yet, which I know is crazy, but when Stott gets plunked too, that's when the alarm set off. Now, Miami ended up yanking their pitcher at the time, going to the pen. It was early in the game. You wondered if it would bite them in the rear end. It doesn't. Because, well, the Phillies fall in the trap of what they normally do, playing dumb. There's a ground ball to the right side. Get the base runner, throw it to first base. Instead, you go to first. Base runner freezes. There's some hesitation. He gets to second base. Runs continue to climb on the leaderboard or on the box score for the Marlins. You can't be doing that. You got no shot, especially when Nola is leaving meatballs over the plate. The crazy part is, some of his strikeouts and some of the strikes that were swung through or called or tipped back, fouled back, he left a lot over the heart of that plate. There were some pitches that had no bite and sat flat in the heart of the zone, and he took a big, deep breath when he got the baseball back and started walking towards the bump for the following pitch because he got extremely lucky. I think, they have 3 bombs? Probably could have been 5 or 6. Now, that stuff happens all the time. The greatest pitchers on their great day, once in a blue moon, might throw a pitch that catches more of the plate than they would like, and the other team fouls it back. It's not just Aaron Nola that gets a breather. That gets the bigger end of the stick. We always talk about someone getting the short end of it. Oh, sometimes the other guy gets a tad lucky. But Aaron Nola was not good. Not good at all. Ranger wasn't good. Wheeler gave up the couple earned runs. But your starters have been sensational throughout that win streak and throughout that beautiful run that you went on last month. We needed to get back. Jose Alvarado going to the IL doesn't help a strong, detailed part of your roster. Your bullpen was deep. Craig Kimbrell being the anchor, though, him staying available is important. Because I think you really start to crumble with how excellent he's been performing. Even though there's reliable options, he's not blowing any saves. He's in a different dimension. Jose's extremely valuable lefty power arm, though. Now you're putting more on the plate of Gregory Soto. Now you're putting more on the plate in a lefty in Matt Strahm. Too much Matt Strahm. He gets overused and overabused, and I think the results start to show you that. A well-rested, very once-in-a-while Matt Strahm, I think that goes a long way. Last series, and I don't want to go too far back into Tampa Bay, but part of the reason why you were able to even have Matt Strahm close the game out in extra innings to sweep Tampa Bay is because Walker grinded through 7 on a night where he wasn't necessarily his best. But to grab a couple innings extra, now Matt Strahm isn't getting thrown in the 6th inning or so. You have him for you as a possibility in the 11th. The more and more you call his name, you're playing with fire. But Corey Simon lets us know that the All-Star break right now, the Phils are at 48-41. On pace for 87-75, the same record as last season. They went 9-15 in the first half against the NL East teams. 2-4 versus the Marlins, Braves, and Mets. 3-3 versus the Nationals. 43 of their 73 games are at home. So take that for what it is. I used to have more thoughts on playing away from Citizens Bank Park, but as we noticed, they seem to respond a little. Jose Alvarado said he isn't concerned about the inflammation in his left elbow despite missing a month earlier this year with an injury. He plans to rest for now. No MRI, no injections. Said he doesn't know if he might need more time to heal. I don't know what's going on. My entire computer is just refreshing as we're sitting here. We better not lose this puppy. There's nothing worse than getting 16, 17, 18 minutes into a show, and then you start seeing the lights flicker, and you lose everything you just did and have to restart. I swear to God, I know that it's raining outside. I know it was storming. I heard thunder and lightning. I will be pissed. I will be devastated. And quite frankly, you won't even know that this is being said because I would have lost this data. Maybe it gets sprinkled into the new version if I need to do it, but let's pray to the podcasting gods that they're on my side tonight. Jose Alvarado said he doesn't know if he might need more time to heal this time around. Gross. Brandon Marsh plays left field, had a nice play out there. Josh Harrison was scratched from the lineup for soreness in his right wrist after sliding yesterday. That's another name. I told you I'd probably forget something. Not that Josh Harrison is a world beater by any means. He actually annoys a lot of us, I'm sure. But that's just another body to note. At some point, when you break down as quickly as you do, it's more about the quantity than it is the quality. You saw earlier this year, they had no fifth starter. Zero. At that point, you get desperate, man. You get crazy desperate. I'm desperate right now thinking about this team. I don't want it to be strong about the last two games. That's the moral of my story. Let's not overreact to the last two games and them dropping to Miami. Let's look at the six in totality and try and ride this momentum into an even more severe second half push. I'm throwing my arms up, though, wondering what's real with Bryce. Because Rob Thompson can say, well, he might be available if we need him in a pinch hitting spot. No. I give them credit. I think it's a good plan to throw a complete lie so the other manager thinks in a pinch they have Bryce. In a pinch, there's a lefty. No, they're not dumb either. They know it's a smokescreen too, but there's no way in hell Bryce would have been called upon. I would have been shocked. I would have been stunned. I know you could rule this into account. That why would he take a bag? Why would he steal? Why would he slide? If there was some serious pain within that elbow after he got hit. Carson Wentz was playing with the ACL before he got any MRI. His knees were banged up. They were stripped apart in there. They were all sorts of tangled and ripped and crushed. They were crumbling to the ground. Yet, he was still on it. And you were holding optimism because he walked off the field. If he didn't get carded, the only way it would be as bad as a torn ACL, a torn MCL, any other ligament in the knee, he'd be carted off. Not true. He's sure, he says. Okay, I'm not ruling out that he could be right. Bryce Harper is the one. Also stating, I'm sure, I'm okay. That very well may be okay. You're right. That very well may be all right. And I do lean that way more than I lean this is a disaster. We may have escaped one. They get very protective in these moments. And I've seen it way too much to not be a tiny skeptical. And without him, even though there's not a ton of power, you need Bryce. You need that 290 batting average. You need that threat. I don't care if he doesn't hit a home run another game this season. I don't care if he strikes out 1 billion times in the second half. When Bryce Harper's at the plate, there's a fear level. When Bryce Harper's in the batter's box, you don't know what can happen. There's always a chance, which then affects the next guy, which then affects the next guy. Stretches out your order. So don't pretend like 3 home runs. Who cares? It'll be all right if he doesn't play as much. It'll be okay. No, it won't be. No, it won't. Because you replace that with more Pache. And that Pache moment was awesome. It was electric. I was screaming at the top of my lungs in my basement where my wife had to check in and say, "You all right down there? What happened?" I guess she didn't know. I told her I was watching SmackDown on Friday night, so did she think I was going bonkers and freaking out because of that? Maybe. I don't know. The Bloodline story is magnificent. Between Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns. My name is Paul Heyman. You got Paul Heyman? No, it was because of Pache. But you don't get those Pache at-bats if he's playing every day getting 4 ABs. You need Bryce. That doesn't even make sense because Pache is a righty. You would look for probably a lefty. Jake Cave gets another chance because I know he's tearing up that AAA, and he's probably banging on the door for something here. Anyway, Aaron Nola stinks. The Bryce Harper thing hurts. And that's that. Anytime hotline. Let's do it.
This team, man. Every time I feel convinced, they find a way to disappoint me. Aaron Nola. One day he looks like a Cy Young. The next he looks like Brad Hand in the playoffs last year. I mean, come on. This guy can take his $200 million and shove it right up his ass.
Oh, man.
And offense, runners in scoring position continue to plague you. Way too many short innings and poor at-bats. That's about it. Peace.
All right, well, took a couple shots there at Aaron Nola, which I guess makes a ton of sense. He sucked again. He sucked again. I don't know what else to tell you about the guy. It just is what it is. It's not his season. He doesn't know how to get over the hump with the pitch clock. He doesn't know how to get comfortable here. He's got a 4.30 ERA. Now, when Sandy Alcantara was on the bump, just not his season. So we chalking it up to, look, some of the best of the best. And now Cy Young winner caliber guy is falling apart this year too. Do we need to give Aaron Nola a leash? No, not at all. Absolutely not. I mean, absolutely not. You think I'm giving this guy a pass? You're on drugs. You do methamphetamine. I don't care about the 7 1/3 1-earned run. I care the fact that that's sandwiched in between a 5-inning game against the Chicago Cubs where it was 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walked batters in 5 innings, allowing 2 home runs. And also what you saw today against Tampa. It's actually insane. There's only 2 games in the first half that has 0 home runs next to Aaron Nola starts. 1 home run against the Rays. 2 home runs. Sorry. The 7 1/3 was the game against Tampa. I don't know if I fumbled the bag there. Regardless, listen to this. Wait. July 4th. No. Hold on. I was right the first time. Shut up, bro. You're stupid. Okay. Here's the home runs. Home run against the Tampa Bay Rays. They just played the Marlins. That's why I'm having a brain fart. Not Tampa. They just played the Marlins. Bowser did it! 2 home runs against the Cubs. No home runs against Atlanta. Shocker. 1 home run against Arizona, 1 home run against the Dodgers, 1 home run against the Tigers, 1 home run against the Mets, 3 home runs against Atlanta. That's more like it there, Aaron. 1 home run against the Cubs, 1 home run against the Rockies, 1 home run against the Blue Jays, 1 home run against the Dodgers, 1 home run against Houston, 1 home run against the Rockies. Then, April 16th, April frickin' 16th, no home runs in an effort against the Cincinnati Reds. The rest, 3. Make it 3. Make it 3. It's 3. Oh, man, dude. It's 3. My point still stands, but it's 3. Because the second start of the year against the Yankees, I was on a high there. I was on a high. And then, as you saw, it just crumbled. It crumbled in front of my face. What the hell do you want me to do? We'll go to the next call.
Stink. Stink. You know what stink is, Hunter, right? Stink is when you drop a series to the Marlins. You win 1 game and you lose 2 because you choke, because you can't hit the ball, because you're making fielding mistakes, because your pitching is horrible. Horrible as in, we choked. We choked against Miami. We came into this series thinking this was going to be an easy win for the Phillies. Nope. Not at all.
I don't know if they necessarily thought it would be easy because the Marlins do have a better record and you are looking up in the standings at them. Now, maybe if this was a series against Washington, they thought that they would expose Washington's flaws and be able to roll the ball out and just win because they're there more so than being mentally prepared and determined to win the series. I don't know. Is this a choke job? Because you win game 1, you have a golden opportunity with 2 games, one with Aaron Nola. You won your game with Zach Wheeler. So between Ranger Suarez and Aaron Nola, you have your 3 best guys available this series, and you end up winning game 1 and still falling on your face. I guess when you lay it out like that, you can call it a choke job. I'm still just angling all 6 together. Maybe that's wrong by me. Maybe I'm by myself on an island. I don't know. But you had 2 really tough opponents away from your ballpark on a historic effort away from CBP. So you think at some point they would lose. The more and more you win and that streak continues, the odd goes up that you'll probably lose. It's going to happen. Now, maybe if you lose game 2, you're still there with Nola for game 3. But the entire team was lifeless. I don't know. Is it a choke job? I don't know. You could swing it that way. You could.
Well, that was thoroughly disappointing. God. Our bats must have a frickin' nap time because they fall asleep more consistently than I do. I'm done with Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot. I'm honestly almost done with Schwarber in general. He's doing nothing.
Come on.
The minuscule chance that the game might start 1-0 is not worth the 80 times that the game is going to start with 1 out, no runners on. He's not hitting for average. He's barely hitting for power at the moment. I love Kyle Schwarber, but he's not doing it right now.
He does have his frustrating times. I can't run away from that. I'm definitely not even close to being done with Kyle Schwarber. I don't know. I feel like this is too hard. They did just go on an awesome June with this. This did just get them back into the race here. This did just give us a ton of confidence for the second half to be a great team. After that Pache home run, and they win, and it just continues in that great feel and that great vibe and that never lose attitude and that swag. 2 days ago, it was all there with Kyle Schwarber at the top of your lineup. Now, all of a sudden, because 2 games where Aaron Nola gets shredded, and because Ranger is misplaying a defensive play, that never happens. Ranger Suarez just accidentally made an error. He's not Alec Boehm over at first. He's not Trey Turner. It's Ranger Suarez, one of the best defensive pitchers in the league right now. I'm not blaming Ranger solely. There's other layers to this. That's all. His splits. You want to go to his June? Let's go to his June this year. He hit 223 with 8 home runs. So he hit 223 with a 339 on base because he also walked 17 times with an 853 OPS. He needs to get more home runs on the board in July, only with 1, hitting 206 with a OBP of 229, now significantly less at bats. It works. This works. And I'm sure it's like, hey, stop! Put stop back up there. You could. I won't start calling for firings if they did. But this works. And I like Stott more towards the back end. I think it helps flip this thing. It lengthens it. I like Kyle Schwarber the way it is. I'm not going to start losing my mind because of the last 2 games here with him leading off based off the whole body of work as they started to flip the page again. All right. We'll wrap things up here, 30 minutes in. Looks like I didn't lose my power. Thank the Lord. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me. I'm recording this as the MLB draft started. So whenever we get the selections of the Phillies' new draft pick, first round, everyone gets a little excited reading into the bio and the background and all that. We'll get to that. With the week being no baseball and the All-Star break, it'll be quiet. So I have some future shows lined up here, some Sixer stuff going on, the Phillies draft going on. There's some things to keep the convo going. But, yeah, if you were looking for any sort of quick hit on who they select and whatnot, that'll be coming up while we discuss the Phils moving forward. All right, everyone. Thank you. You're the greatest. Catch you on the next one.